Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts now.
Isaiah, your microphone's muted.
There we go. There we go. Live streaming. Sometimes we have problems. Welcome to the early edition of the Factor Uncensored. We call it prime time here. We have a great show for you and a long list of guests. Glad you can join us. And remember to hit that stream. If you have any questions or comments, just pretend like you didn't see the first 30 seconds of the show. That never happened. All the gang, are you guys here? Who do we have in the house with us? Do we have Matt, Sonora, Keyshawn? Are you guys there? There we go. Matt, I know you writing me up. You're going to send it to HR.
Listen.
On this microphone.
Listen, I have other gripes with you still, including you still narking on me yesterday.
I think that's why you want revenge. You want revenge. So how are you guys doing today, Sonora, with the glossy lips? How are you?
Always fabulous. Fabulous as always.
John, how are you back in Houston, H-Town?
Yes, I'm back. You know, I had a little delay and cancellation yesterday, but I'm back in Houston, H-Town.
And thank God Matt has not terminated anyone from the Factor or the or Face Off just yet.
Listen, the week's still young, Isaiah.
All right, guys. Well, we'll get back with you in just a minute. We want to jump on the Supreme Court. Some terribly important rulings happening there today. And of course, we have our guests who are joining us. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled today, 6-3, that the Constitution guarantees automatic birthright citizenship here in the United States, striking down the executive order that President Donald Trump attempted to end when he put that in place. And our guests are here on the Factor Uncensored to discuss that. We have with us Cesar Espinosa with VL. We have Tololupa Pei Kuteyi, and we have Brianna A. Jenkins, who is an attorney and policy advocate, and Tolu
works.
Look, you have been on the Factor so many times, and I'm looking at it now. It looks better on the teleprompter. So let's just start fresh, guys, because it's going on TV from this point on. Our guests are here to talk about this Supreme Court ruling. So, Cesar, your thoughts when it comes to birthright citizenship and the way the Supreme Court ruled today? All right, we got a problem with Cesar. We're going to get to Cesar in just a second. Tololupe, your thoughts about the ruling from the U.S. Supreme Court when it comes to birthright citizenship?
Well, I can tell you this morning, all of us immigration attorneys were texting each other and doing the woo, super glad that this is a ruling that's keeping up with the 14th Amendment as it should, and ensuring that any child born on this soil becomes a U.S. citizen.
Now, Brianna, we had a dissent from Justice Clarence Thomas, and it was 91 pages long. And he emphasized domicile, meaning living here, and then if you give birth here, then you would have the right domicile. So your thoughts about this birthright citizenship ruling and how Justice Clarence Thomas dissented with 91 pages saying this is wrong and we had a chance to change the Constitution and the law.
I think 91 pages was excessive. I think it's ironic that he would be the person advocating for the erosion of this right, found in the 14th Amendment, when a lot of things in the 14th Amendment got him to the position where he is today, unfortunately, where he's caused a lot of harm. But I think I'm happy today that what was articulated, not only in that dissent, but in other opinions that came out today is not the law of the land and is not able to stand. And it just goes against the heart of the 14th Amendment and why it was created in the first place, particularly Black people at that time when the 14th Amendment was ratified to the Constitution.
Cesar Espinosa with Fiel, your boots on the ground, very active. Your thoughts about this and this ruling from the U.S. Supreme Court when it comes to birthright citizenship?
So for us, that we've been working on this issue for the last year and a half since Trump, and even before that, during the last Trump administration when he threatened to do this, it was a sigh of relief. Many moms, many people who were waiting to see what was going to be the ruling on this, today, they gave a sigh of relief. The worrisome thing, though, is that we worry that the Trump administration is going to figure out, okay, we didn't get this, what's next? What else are we going to attack? What else are we going to do to make immigrant lives miserable here in the United States? But, at the same time, we one of the things that we applaud the Supreme Court is for them actually looking at the constitutionality of the 14th Amendment and then deciding that only Congress has the authority to change this. Already Trump took to Truth Social and he said, well, it's easy to get it done. The man cannot even get a bill, that he has pushed for the beginning of Save America. He cannot even get people at his 250th celebration in Washington D.C. We've all seen the dismal pictures. What makes him think that he is going to guide this country into having a constitutional amendment?
And Tolo Lope, let's get back to you. Your thoughts. What do you think? Do you have a concern that President Trump may go after the immigrant population in another fashion, using another tactic that we have not seen?
Well, he already has. I mean, just a few days ago, the Supreme Court ruled that asylum seekers can no longer seek asylum at the border. And in addition, they got rid of TPS for Haitian and Syrian refugees. So this is a major victory, but it doesn't mean it has stopped the oppression of non-documented persons. I mean, we have backlogs with USCIS in adjudicating applications. People are being placed into removal proceedings at a rate that we've never seen before. People who have no criminal history. I mean, I have a client right now who was attending Baylor who was placed in proceedings just because his I-130 is pending. That is not the historical way that things were previously done. And so their attack on non-immigrants or undocumented persons is continuing in many ways. This is just one victory for us.
Brianna, are you seeing the same thing out there in the community when it comes to immigration and individuals facing an uphill battle, which at one point was routine in getting to citizenship, naturalization here in America, and now there are hoops and hurdles that you have to jump through?
I think just generally what I'm seeing, while, again, there's a sigh of relief today, people are very much concerned because people who are trying to become citizens, people who are undocumented in the country, very much know that they're under attack, and they're under attack not only by this administration, but by the state that we're in. So folks are still vigilant. We take our victories where we can, but we understand that this is a part of a larger system, a larger network to, in this particular case, disenfranchise folks who are either undocumented or folks who are trying to become naturalized citizens in this country.
And what do you think it will take, Cesar, if anything, if there is anything out there to put this to rest for this country? We haven't seen a lot of action whatsoever from the United States Congress. So what do you want to see from Congress to address this and other issues in the future that President Trump is keeping a keen eye on? Any holes, any chink in the armor that he can see, he is taking advantage of that, according to many of his critics.
Well, what we need to see from Congress is we need to fix our broken immigration system. We need to find a way to address the elephant in the room, knowing that people are here to address the needs that the United States does have to bring in talent from all over the world. And that has to be done. And it's in I would like to think that President Trump has the either the want to or the know-how on how to do that, but every time it looks more dismal in that he looks to attack the immigrant community and he looks to further and deepen problems instead of finding solutions. And two quick things, Isaiah. One of the things that we were really concerned about is how is this going to work out? Were they going to put ICE agents in maternity wards? What was going to happen, and who was going to pay for that? And then the other thing that we look at is, and I want, because I know there's going to be people commenting and saying, well, this, they keep giving everything to immigrants. The historical context, where the 14th Amendment was born, is important that we talk about it, because without it, a problem that the U.S. created by enslaving people and bringing them over here would have made them stateless. And that is where the birth of birthright citizenship comes from. And we must defend it, because today is us, tomorrow could be a whole new population.
Really quick, guys, Governor Greg Abbott talked today about this issue, and he called the Supreme Court decision upholding birthright citizenship a missed opportunity to end the longstanding constitutional right, which he cast as a powerful magnet for illegal immigration. You guys, your thoughts on that? Anyone can speak up.
For Abbott, I have two things for Abbott. Number one is, thank goodness he's just governor and not president or on the Supreme Court, because this country would go back hundreds of years with his mentality. And number two, I think it's important to know and to weigh in the fact that this is nobody is above the law. And Governor Abbott cannot push this forward. He cannot give his opinion and state it as fact. This is just his opinion. The Supreme Court is the supreme law of the land, and they have made a landmark decision today.
Not only that, we're not shocked about Greg Abbott's response to this, but it's important for him and many people to understand that immigrants have shaped this country. Immigration has been long-standing. It has many benefits to this country, and to deny them this pathway, it makes no sense. It's no benefit to us as a community, as a society, and to the humanitarian reasons. It's better this way. It's better that we maintain it this way, and it's better that the 14th Amendment has been upheld.
And guys, let me play devil's advocate here. For those who say, those who come to this country and have children while being illegal with that status, illegal status, then it's a strain on the system. It's costing the American taxpayer more and more. Can we afford it? Will we be able to sustain? Will you see an increase in individuals now coming to the United States just to have children? Your thoughts. Let's hear from you guys.
First of all, there are already things in place to block that from happening. So that is one. Secondly, if we have billionaires who can go without paying taxes, it is very hard for me to accept that argument that a non-immigrant mother choosing to have a child here is putting much of a strain on our community.
Cecil, let's hear from you and Brianna as well.
Just two quick points on that. Number one is, time and time again, studies have proven that immigrants give into the system more than we receive. I paid Social Security for many, many years. And it was until I became documented 2 years ago that I basically counted in the system as a potential recipient further on the line, not even now. And so I think that's important to point out. And then the second thing is, Isaiah, I guarantee you, when a mother is fleeing Venezuela or Honduras because they've been threatened by the gangs, that if they have their children, that they're going to be picked up by the gang members as soon as they're born, they're not thinking about birthright citizenship. They're not thinking about just coming here and having babies or what's going to happen in the future. They're thinking about finding a safe haven where they can see their families grow and thrive. And that has been the promise of America for the last 250 plus years.
All right. Well, we want to thank you guys for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored. We appreciate your time. And of course, we'll see you on TV tonight at 10:30 as well. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Let's move on to the next hot topic today here on the early edition of The Factor Uncensored. We're going to kick it down to the NBA, where LeBron James is leaving the Los Angeles Lakers. So the question is, where will he go next? He is continuing his NBA career. We have some guests here on The Factor to discuss it. We have Jim Hicks, sports journalist, Pateri Reed, a sports fan, and Mike James, former NBA player. So, Mike, first of all, your thoughts about LeBron not retiring yet, but maybe out there searching for a new place to call home.
You know, everyone talks about his age and they say, you know, it's time for him to give up the sport. But what LeBron has mastered is the offseason. And he understands that it's not what he does in the regular season that prepares him for an NBA season. It's going to be what he does in the offseason. And he still has that same regimen that he's done from the beginning, which lets him know that I'm still one of the top probably 20 players in the NBA. So even at his age, you know, averaging 21, 7, and 6, he's a great second, third man on anybody's team coming up next season.
All right, before we get to the sports expert, Mr. Reed, your thoughts about this decision from LeBron?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm from Ohio, so I think LeBron can do absolutely no wrong. Even though he left, he came back and gave us a chip in the most historical manner. So personally, as a father, I think he did what he was supposed to do. He handled Bronny early before he made his decision. I think that was the right move, making sure that he was set up. Literally the night before, he said he's going to go shopping. And I think that him and Rich Paul have every right, you know, to shop. He's been the face of the league for more than half of his life. And, you know, he deserves whatever farewell tour that he wants to have. So I think that they, you know, going to look at their options and frankly can choose whatever team they want to go to that the money's right. So I think his primary focus at this point in his career, you know, him considering himself the greatest player ever, and so do I, is family, investments, and golf. So he can do that from pretty much anywhere. Obviously, there's some more premier spots to make all of those things happen. But I think whatever decision he makes is going to be, you know, the perfect ending to an illustrious career. So, and even if he wants to join my team, I run an events company called Off the Grid, and we throw parties all across the country so he can meet us wherever he's at.
Get that plug in, Mr. Reed. Jim Hicks, let's hear from you. Your thoughts about this move by LeBron James.
I mean, it was time, and it was a great breakup or split between the Lakers and Bron. It was cordial, but it was time. And you know, to his point, you know, he took care of Bronny on yesterday. You know, got a fully guaranteed $2.3 million deal for his son on the way out the door. And, you know, I think that somebody leaked out the trade rumor, and that's a lot of times. And Mike James you know, as NBA veteran that he is, how sometimes, especially with this social media era, they didn't have it in the bulk during Mike James's heyday. But that trade was under the wraps and under the table, as many trades are. Heck, in Houston, we all know when we got Fred VanVleet, nobody even saw it coming. Those are the best trades when they go through and nobody see it coming. Somebody didn't want it to go down, leaked it out. So now it was going to be a smooth process, but now it leaves it wide open. And I think Bron is going to, as Mike James says, he's going to carefully. He's a tactician. He's very, very smart. Everybody in the business knows it. He's going to think this thing through, but he says himself, this is going to be not money. It's going to be by happiness. It's going to be trust. It's going to go somewhere where he trusts the ownership, the upper management, or at least the main key players on his new team.
Mike, that sounds like Houston. Huh? That sounds like Houston, huh, Mike?
You know, that'll be amazing to see Kevin Durant and LeBron James playing together. And it's kind of cheating, but, you know, that's the way the league has been, you know, building mega teams. And wherever LeBron goes, he's going to create a mega team. And so why not create one here in Houston, especially, you know, his last years of his career, at least win a championship in Houston would be a beautiful way to leave the city, especially with KD here.
Do you guys think, and any of you can hop in now, we will see maybe a bidding war, more people showing interest in him, or is it totally up to him and where he wants to go? And many people realize that. You take a look, see all the teams, some of the places he's been. what are your thoughts on some of the possibilities? And do you think there would be an attempt by some of these teams to reach out to him and say, we want you to call this place home at least for a moment?
You know, Pat Riley also said, if LeBron calls, you know, my front door is always open. And so he's going to have his options. You know, there's going to be a bidding war for him, of course, because you have one of the greatest players to play the game, one of the smartest, one of the highest IQs. So he's going to make any team a contender next season. So, you know, guys is definitely going to be trying to throw the red carpet out at him to try to convince him to come to their city, because, you know, you're going to get an attraction, you know, from the stands points, from merchandise point, from the whole perspective. You bring LeBron to your city, you know, he's going to change the whole dynamics of everything.
And really quick, Mike, do you think money even motivates him now where he is financially in his life, or he's just looking for a good place to go?
I think the thing that motivates him now is the Larry O'Brien trophy. I think that he's motivated by winning another championship. You know, he's been talked about as one of the greatest players to play the game, but has one of the worst championship records, you know, in the playoffs out of, you know, the ones they call the tops. So this, I think this gives him, establishes him in his career by winning another championship at the end. And I think that's the thing that motivates him more than anything else, is the team, and are they ready to compete and try to win at the end of the year.
Mr. Reed from Ohio, what are your thoughts? Will his son, and you brought up his son, and he's solidified the deal before he left with his son in Los Angeles. Will his son be okay? Will he sustain? Will he become anything close or similar to his father?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's already, you know, similar in terms of his celebrity, you know what I mean? In terms of skill set and athletic prowess and Hall of Fame status. You know, he's gonna have to keep working to achieve some of the things that his father did early. But he's gonna be okay, you know, just because of you know, one, his skill. He is an NBA player. He deserves to be in the league, but also, you know, his dad and the connections that they have. So if he does go to the Warriors, you know, daddy will be close enough to make sure everything is kosher.
All right. And Jim, your thoughts about what it will take to get LeBron to sign with any franchise. And is he looking for money? Is he looking for that additional recognition that Mike talked about? And will his son be okay after that most recent contract he signed with Los Angeles?
Well, that $2.3 million deal that Bronny signed with the Lakers, I mean, right now, it's a lot. Back in those days, that's really chump change. He could have made more money in college right now had he still been at USC. That's guaranteed. He probably would have made about maybe $5-6 million being Bronny, with everything that comes with him. So, but to your point in regards to this process, understand, Bron gave this task to Rich Paul, his agent with Clutch Sports, to basically take all comers, then weed them down to a certain amount of teams in all seriousness. Because here's the deal. As it stands right now, certain teams will know during these conversations if they have a fighting chance or not. That's what one of the purposes of the agent is for, is to make this thing simple, process simpler, so that people know they're not calling LeBron James. They're dealing with Rich Paul. And they can move people around and free up extra money from under the cap so they stay up under the apron as well to get LeBron James. And that's the thing. So right now, it is so premature. It is so early in the game, right? And understand, the NBA Summer Leagues starts next week on July the 8th. I'm sorry, and in Vegas. All of the GMs and administrations are going to be there. But that doesn't stop LeBron. They're going to be. They're not going to be where everybody else is. So they're going to be taking up and exploring this situation, and he's going to go to the right fit, and that he believes is the right fit. But if you guys been watching LeBron closely, he's not going anywhere where he has to go and teach a lot of people basketball. He's going to go to a place where it's going to be easy, and they're going to have some young legs, because Bron ain't going to be ready and willing to chase people all over the court. Don't get it twisted. As Mike James said a while ago, they're 21 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds a game, and those numbers increased in the playoffs when Luka didn't play in the second round when they got swept, and it increased. So that made the stock go up. But this thing is going to be really interesting. One of the best free agent acquisitions, probably the most coveted in our time, is going to be this one in 2026 with LeBron James.
And really quick, you're a realist. Do you see Houston in the picture at all?
They can if they want. Remember, Houston already the smoothest trades are those you don't see coming. Remember, Kawhi Leonard just went back to the Toronto Raptors earlier today, and a lot of people didn't see it coming. That means those talks, they didn't just start talking yesterday. That was them things were being worked out, and you get it done. And speaking of Kawhi, remember, they both came to Los Angeles in the same year, 8 years ago. Bron came first. Kawhi, remember, Bron came first, and remember they were trying to make a pitch for Kawhi to come join him with the Lakers. Kawhi Leonard said, "No, I don't want to play with him. I want to do my own thing." And look how it worked out for Kawhi, even though he got him a ring in Toronto, but he's back. I think this thing is going to be good. Isaiah, just get your popcorn, go along for the ride, and we can continue to watch history. This man will be 42 years old in December. And this is the type of bidding war that's about to go on for a 42-year-old basketball player that's entering his 24th, 25th season. This is unbelievable. Mike James, I know it's orange and blue skies for you, baby. You from New York City. Them Knicks won the championship, and you feeling good about yourself. You might go and lace them up right now.
Oh no, man! I'm gonna need me a Bengay contract, man.
All right, guys, we're out of time. We're going to take a quick break here, and we want to thank you guys for joining us here on the Factor Uncensored. And it will definitely be interesting to see what happens with LeBron James. Thank you guys for joining us here on the Factor Uncensored. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break on Fox Local and continue on at Isaiah Factor Uncensored on YouTube. So stick here with us. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them there in the chat. We have CD Away 2024. He is chatting his ass off on there. And we're going to get to some of your comments. So make sure you stick with us. And of course, guys, we are going on to the next topic. And it is a doozy. It is a doozy. Before I introduce you guys, my guests here on the Factor Uncensored, I want to show you a video that we had a chance to take a look, and I think you guys have viewed it. But for those who haven't seen the video as of yet, it is from a church in Lexington, Kentucky. It's Mount Olive Baptist Church. Let's take a look first.
Take me out and blow him up. 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 Take me out and blow him up.
It was nothing more than a small part of our Vacation Bible School. For 32 years, Vacation Bible School. We have characters every year that represent good and right and God. And we have characters that represent evil and wrong and that which should be avoided. We every year, through skits and songs and games and just a lot of fun, we make church a fun place.
All right, that is Pastor Dwayne Walker of Mount Olive Baptist Church in Lexington, Kentucky. That is a vacation Bible school like I have never seen before. Of course, you guys are here on the Factor Uncensored. Glad to see you join us. It is just mind-blowing. We have with us Ben Daniels, comedian, Tam Johnson, teacher and parent, Laquan Smallwood, faith-based leader. So, Laquan, obviously, we love the church. I used to go to Vacation Bible School for the free summer lunches, but I'd never seen anything quite like that skit or that mock situation, firing squad in a church where it's good versus evil. So, Laquan, your thoughts about this, first of all? Well, Ben Daniels, when you see that video, your thoughts about this, first of all?
You know how you have that one family member you can't claim in public because he's always doing dumb things? That's what Kentucky is for white people. Like, I don't want to defend what Kentucky people do. That's ridiculous. You can't go into a vacation Bible school and have a man with guns go start shooting people in front of children. Like, that has no place in a church. We need to leave that in the public schools where that happens and they have drills for it. Like, you're ruining these kids' summer for absolutely no reason. I can't stand for it, man.
And what about the pastor's response, public response, Tam? I mean, your thoughts on that?
First of all, this is Dwayne Walker. Let's address that. He white and his name Dwayne Walker. I would like to address that fact first. Dwayne down in Kentucky. Look, let me just say, seriously, sometimes we see a small clip and we can take it and blow it out of proportion because we're not there. We don't know the church culture. We don't know if they live in a country or rural area where guns and different things like that are of the norm. And I heard what Pastor said, and theologically, I understand where he was coming from. And as Christians, we absolutely want to teach our children about spiritual warfare. However, we don't fight against flesh and blood. So, Pastor, you got the people in flesh and blood. If we're talking about spiritual warfare and children learning about that, why we got to go this extreme with it, to mimic a mass shooting? I just think that the minds of the children were a little bit too young to even try to comprehend something of that level. I think that the impact and the intent matters, but so does the impact. I think Pastor might have didn't use a wisdom on this one.
All right, Quentin, let's hear from you. Your thoughts about this.
Man, I'm a youth pastor and I love illustrations, but I've never done anything like that. I mean, I think it was, it's like, do what you got to do to get them to Jesus. But it's like, bro, I just think it was a little much. I think it was a little over the top. And I think too, we have to notice it wasn't like middle school kids. It was like kindergarten through 5th grade, like vacation Bible schools kids. And so it's like, if that's their memory of what they remember, that's not really the love of Jesus. That's more so fear instead of freedom.
All right, Laquan has joined us, Smallwood faith-based leader. Laquan, your thoughts about this? Are you shocked at what you've seen?
Well, I am definitely shocked. I know demonstrations have been something that the church uses, right? But I think there's an extreme, and there's things that you can do to get your point across. And I think we've gotten so worldly that we've kind of fallen away from the things that we were taught. Like I forgot the young lady that's on. I'm sorry your name, but we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, rulers in the dark places. And I also believe that these children are impressionable, so you have to be careful where you're showing them at a young age, only because they're going to think certain things are okay. And I think bringing guns or whatever in the church or shooting someone is not the message that we should be sending to youth or young adults.
And do you think this will normalize in some form or fashion? And I don't want to just go over the top with this, but normalize violence and guns for these children. They seem to be very young. I'm looking at like maybe 4 or 5 years old in that church. Let's hear from you guys. Your thoughts about, normalizing this for these children.
If I had to guess based on the demographic of that church and how that service is going, those kids are going to be pretty normalized to guns by the time they're 3 anyway. Anytime you have people live where they make the liquor, things tend to go left. So, I mean, you can't really let's not pretend like those kids had the greatest odds out the gate if they hadn't seen this sketch anyway. Like, I don't want to completely blame this man for what those children are going to become, but he didn't help.
No, he didn't. That's
Tam?
funny because I was looking as they were coming in to get an idea of the kids' faces, and all the bad kids was like jumping up and down. They wasn't in, bad kids, they ain't scared of nothing, right? But I don't think that it's really offended or not. I think that is this the best message? Is this the best method to communicate what it was that he was trying to communicate? As believers, we are to communicate the truth that points people to Christ. But when your method becomes bigger than the message, there's a problem there, and it's a conversation that needs to be had. Now, Dwayne, I know with a name like that, you looking for us. We just trying to tell you a conversation needs to be had about the methods because it's becoming bigger than the message. And that's to point children to Christ ultimately. What happened to the Bible? That's the book for me. That's when I was in vacation Bible school.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We were doing chants trying to, Leviticus, Numbers, Ruth, Joshua.
Right.
I mean, we were doing
Deuteronomy.
like stuff like that. I mean, the guns, baby, they scared me a little bit. And I was raised in the projects, and they scared me. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here.
So, Quentin and LaQuan, what are you guys, when you're taking part and helping the congregation with Bible study, what do you typically see now? Clearly, you don't see that. Obviously, you need to keep children's interest. What are you showing at your churches and your religious organizations?
Yeah,
I think first and foremost. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you good, bro? You good? Go ahead.
Okay. I think first and foremost, it's about learning how to be relatable and using real life experiences that you're going through. And that makes it more personable for you to connect with them on certain levels. Because youth and young adults want to hear, you know what, I've been through that. I've experienced that. And this is what helped me overcome that. Or this is how I navigated through that. People want real life. They want real situations. They don't want to hear things that are made up or, back in my grandma days, because, I always methods change, but the God we serve never changes. And so it's about meeting people where they are and using real life experiences to help those navigate life and the experiences that they may have to go through in life these days.
All right, Quentin.
Yeah, I think for us, one thing that we're showing is hey, we want something to edify them. I mean, that's what the church is for, to edify. And we want something that it will encourage them and enlighten them. And so for me, I mean, I preached in a pool, I've done all crazy things, but I want to use a demonstration, not a distraction. I want what I'm doing to not distract them from the gospel. And so it's hey, we can do something that can reach them at any cost, whatever that looks like. But for us, it's hey, let's stick to the Bible and let's see how whatever illustration we're going to use, how can it tie back to the word of God and tie back to what the goal of the message is, not so much elevating the demonstration. And what I found is most times when the illustration is elevated over the content is because the content is weakened. And many people feel like the elevation of the illustration, it covers for the lack of study, the lack of biblical truth, the lack of content. And so that's a discussion that I often think about. It's okay, if I'm going to preach in the pool, this cannot be elevated over the actual content of pushing people to Jesus. But when you don't have much to say, you do much to cover what you don't have to say.
And Ben, once again, Dwayne Walker, the pastor at Mount Olive Baptist Church in Lexington, Kentucky, said he's befuddled by the attention that this mock shooting is getting, and it's misinformation out there. It's an age of social media where you're twisting what they're doing. Your thoughts on his explanation and how he sees it?
I think he doesn't understand the meaning of the word misinformation, given that that was a video and not AI. We watched you fake a shooting in a church. And I think at some point, if you're making the churches that talk to snakes seem reasonable, you should probably take a look at the mirror and maybe rework your sermon into a way that won't go viral for the wrong reasons. I don't know, if at the end of the day, the end goal is to get eyes on the church, all press is good press. He accomplished that more than I would guess one of his regular sermons would. And I mean, yes, maybe 3 dozen children got traumatized, but you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
Guys,
Yeah.
your thoughts on this and how Pastor Walker is responding.
I
Is he
think
tone deaf or are we missing something?
I think he's with respect to the pastor. I think he's definitely tone deaf. I think the reality of it is people come to church to be healed. So here's what I'm thinking. What if there was a family in that congregation that went through a shooting, went through a death? What are we communicating to them? And children, they are vulnerable. They're like, they capture their imagination. So whatever we show them, they're going to imitate. So it's like, I think he's tone deaf in the sense of how did it edify whatever it is they were talking about? Like the kids were laughing. They weren't even looking at what was happening. So what he was looking for, the result was this. I definitely think he's tone deaf in that for sure.
And Tam, what was your first response when you saw that video? Because we brought it up. My producer, Sonora, showed it to us in the editorial meeting today. And I'm like, what the hell is that?
I
Facts.
actually listened to what Pastor had to say before I listened to the video because the last thing I want to do is come on here and take my brother down. As a part of the body of Christ and a part of the same mission, which is to point people to Christ, I didn't want to come here and just slash him because that is my brother in Christ for one. But when I saw the video, I did not question the pastor's heart because I do feel like pastor's heart was in the right place with what he was trying to convey. I just believe the method was just off. I was shocked. And so, Pastor, I believe if we continue to pray for you, the Holy Spirit gonna speak to your heart and let you know you were wrong. And don't do that next year. Whatever y'all been doing for 32 years, I guarantee you, if we go back 22 of those years, they were not doing it at this level, Pastor. So I know your heart is in the right place, and I'm gonna ask the Spirit of God to just move on your heart, Dwayne. Dwayne.
All right, Laquan, your thoughts about the pastor's position, saying that's misinformation, what he did at the church for Bible study, vacation Bible study, or Bible school, was twisted on social media.
Again, like everyone already stated, I definitely think he was tone deaf. I don't think that, and just because, something you feel, and that's the problem. A lot of times as leaders, they put their feelings in it instead of going back to what the word of God says. And I think when we lose sight of, the mission and the message, then we're operating out of flesh and blood. And that's where we shouldn't operate from. And then it reminded me of even just being so impressionable on these children, scripture that says train up a child, right? And so it's like, are you training them the right way, right? Are you training them, the in the word so that they are speaking and preaching love? Because at the end of the day, the ultimate answer, the ultimate message is love. That's what Jesus came. John 3:16. For God so loved the world, right? That he gave his only begotten son. So it's like, are you sharing that message? Is that the message? We understand that there's good and evil, but we should be talking about the good, right? And learning how to work through evil situations. So yeah, I think he's definitely tone deaf.
And Ben, to wrap us up here, one of the things you said, these kids shouldn't be surprised by the gun. But do you think there should be maybe counselors or parents take them home and say, look, what you saw is not the way things should happen.
If I'm
Obviously,
being,
pastor made a mistake, but you shouldn't go around shooting people with guns, even pretending to.
if I could I'll be serious for this one last piece of the segment and say, like, not only should those kids probably be looked at by professionals, it's kind of on us. We're assuming this is the weirdest thing that happens in that church. Like, maybe somebody might want to pop in on a few other sermons if this is what's going on in the vacation Bible school and see if those kids are all right year round or if this is an isolated incident. Just my 2 cents worth if we're going to talk seriously.
I agree with you. Tam, your thoughts? Could this be just the tip of the iceberg here? Of course, we don't know that, but could this possibly be endemic or a bigger.
In 2026, we have a lot of pastors doing a lot of things to get a lot of attention and to keep members and to grab a hold to just something that might stick, when the bottom line is we just need to be led by the Spirit. He will tell you exactly what it is that you need to do for the sheep that you flock. It's really that simple. We don't need to go and try to find, all of these different things and see what sticks and what not. Just allow the Spirit of God to move and then operate in that.
All right. Well, we want to thank you guys for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored. Tam, I want to know where your vacation Bible school is, because I'm going to sign up. I hope you have free lunch, not reduced, free lunch, so I can get it. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Thank you for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored. Good to see you, Ben. Congratulations on that spot at the Houston Improv.
Thank you, bro. It was a great time. See you on the next one.
All right. And of course, we want to remind our viewers, if you want to chime in with a comment on any of the stories we've talked about tonight, just chime in. And I need my background singers. Where's Matt? Where's Keyshawn? Where's Nora? Because we are about to talk about one of my favorite topics, superheroes, the Mexican Batman. Have you guys seen the articles and the videos and the still pictures of the Mexican Batman?
Listen, why am I not surprised this is one of your favorite stories?
Yeah. I mean, if it's dead people or superheroes, it's me. So he's being called a vigilante. And of course, the police in Mexico, they are looking for him. He has gone around the community, and I think 5 men have been arrested by him, meaning he's not a police officer, he's a vigilante, but they were accused of stealing motorcycles. And so he would take the tape and tape them to lampposts like you see there, where they cannot get free, and he would leave the motorbikes right there by them and would put on their faces in Spanish, thief.
Yeah.
And they have been not taken into custody, because here's the twist. Now, police there in Mexico are considering the vigilante as a criminal, and these guys who he says were stealing motorcycles, they're now victims. And so they have been released, they've been freed, but now they're looking for the Mexican Batman. They want to arrest him, take him into justice. It's just not right, people. It's just not right. I'm sure Sonora agrees with me. She's an Avengers Marvel fan, not DC like me, where that's the home of Batman.
Definitely.
I know too much, right, Matt? I know too much, right?
Hey, listen, I'm not surprised, Isaiah, because when it comes to DC or Marvel, I just like to talk shit with you, so I don't really know which one I'm supposed to support.
It's Marvel.
Sonora is Marvel. I'm DC. DC has Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, Flash. Marvel has Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, that crowd.
Yes.
And Wonder Woman, right?
No, Wonder Woman's DC.
Okay.
At least with this guy, like the real Batman, like he's known for beating people's asses, right?
Oh yeah, beat you to a pulp. He just doesn't use a gun. He doesn't use a gun. Batman.
Right. He'll literally, he'll beat people up. But I mean, at least with these cases, it's just the duct tape, and that's like the worst of it.
Yeah,
maybe it's a waste of materials from Office Max at work, But I don't see an issue with it. I think it's funny, and it just brings attention to something as simple as stealing how bad it is.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this much. I'm not a thief to begin with, but if I were in that area and I saw people being duct taped, you'd be damned if I'm gonna be stealing anything in that area.
Like let me turn around and go the other way. Exactly. Duct taping people.
Yeah, I love that he's not like doing anything brutal to them. He's just tying them up to the pole. He's not cutting off arms or anything. You know, I just love that. It's just moderate. It's just embarrassment. That's what it is. Embarrassment. I'm for it. I'm for it. And I would love to see who this person is. It's probably some old man doing it.
No, those are young guys. So I don't know how an old man like Matt Wood's age could do that.
I feel like
why you gotta come after me, Isaiah?
To do this.
I have questions. Like, I wonder, like, there has to be maybe he has a Robin, because how can you just get somebody to? How can you duct tape a person?
Here's
like
what
that?
I think, Sonora. I've thought this through. He's probably got a gun, a shotgun, a weapon that he pulls on them.
Okay.
And then he ties them up. You know, I'm interested to hear what these so-called victims have to say, even though they were caught stealing these motorbikes that he left behind for the police to take them into custody. So do you guys think there should be like a vigilante or vigilantes around America who work, you know, regular shifts? Not every once in a while shoot somebody on the subway, bam, bam, and now you're a vigilante. Ain't no vigilante. It's just somebody who shot somebody on the subway. But if you are protecting the citizenry, you're protecting your community, you're protecting the city, do you think there should be like real life vigilantes out there?
So here's what I'm going to say about that is I think that there are too many people who are trigger happy people out there who would do some stupid shit and they would go after people just because they have a bias towards somebody versus actually protecting the community. Now, on the flip side, I will say this. We know that across this country, there are some law enforcement agencies that are very underfunded, or they don't have the manpower, the resources, or there's just not the resources in the community in general. So maybe some of them need help. But at the end of the day, I don't think that a vigilante is a good thing, just because I think that you're going to see them targeting the wrong people.
Yeah, I agree with you, Matt. I think sometimes people don't need to be involved because how do you determine right from wrong?
Isaiah said, now, okay, Isaiah, now how about this? If they're dressed as a Superman, if they're dressed up as Superman or Batman, maybe then it's okay if that's the case. Just
you don't want a random Joe just intervening on, like, if someone is stealing from a store, I'm a person, just stay out of it. Like, I don't think everyone should be involved in everything.
Oh my God, you sound like you're from New York.
I was about ready to say the same thing.
Stay out of it.
It's like that's such a New York response.
That don't got nothing to do with you.
If we had a real life
that's how people get shot.
That too.
It's true. You don't want to end up on the news.
That is true. That is true. I'm just thinking, like, you know, there's controversy in that world of Superman and Batman. People weren't messing with Superman. They're like, you're not even from Earth, period. So, like, who are you to have authority or have a say so in what goes on, at least here in the U.S.?
Well, some of them are sanctioned by the government when you talk about heroes, like the Avengers had to sign the agreement that we all saw in the movie.
Right.
What is that? The Accord? I can't think of the Accord. But they had to sign the agreement that they would work with the government and follow the rules. But anyway, we're done with that, right? This is what Keyshawn wants to talk about. This. Thumbs up.
We're almost done with this.
Some young people are irritated with thumbs up and the emoji. I even take you look at all of my pictures, like on Facebook, and Instagram, my pictures with this, with my thumb in that yellow, that's Homer Simpson's thumb, but you get the point. But Keyshawn, why are so many young people disturbed and ticked off by the thumbs up emoji symbol?
So I think, here's the thing. The Gen Zs are annoyed again. I feel like the Gen Zs are a little sensitive these days, but they're annoyed. They say that the thumbs up is a sign of being passive aggressive and cold. It's basically shutting someone down when they send a message.
I feel very uncomfortable.
And oh yeah, that's your thing. So I know and I don't agree. I use it sometimes. Sometimes I just write okay. They say sometimes just writing a simple okay and not elaborating is a sign of disrespect or being cold to the person. And I've experienced someone coming at me saying that I'm being cold because I put the thumbs up.
I feel like it could be a form of projecting, because me personally, I go out of my way to use personalized emojis for my responses. And so if I send you a yellow thumbs up, I'm doing it intentionally. That means I am being passive aggressive towards you.
Oh, I get that from you all the time then.
Not all the time, but sometimes
I do get that
I
from you all
will.
the time, like, whatever.
So, okay, so here's my take with this. Isaiah, all I have to say is thank you for saying that people who are offended by this are super young, because I am one of those people who are super young and super offended by this. So I will tell you this much. I hate the thumbs up with a passion, especially the double tap on a text message response thumbs up. That to me is the most passive aggressive thing.
Just say you hate me.
But Matt, I called out yesterday and all you wrote was a thumbs up. No, you didn't write the thumbs up, you double tapped.
Listen, all I gotta say is read between the lines, friend.
It was just a double tap. I was like, uh-oh. I never got that before.
Listen, because here's the thing. Well, also, Keyshawn, that was the first thing I woke up to yesterday. So
I know. I figured that. I figured because I texted you like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning when I couldn't get on the flight.
Not Isaiah. I just got a barrage of thumbs up text messages. I don't know, Isaiah. I don't know what's worse: the thumbs up double tap responses you just sent, or the picture you sent yesterday of me charging my car. You little narc.
That's crazy.
well,
Listen,
guys, don't forget about the big game going on. Aren't we close to wrapping up?
Yeah, we're close to
we're
wrapping
done.
up.
We're all Fox local. We're just on the stream now.
That's fine.
We'll just hang out with y'all. Shit.
Hey, listen,
I gotta work on this show.
But to answer your question, though, yes, the game is about ready to start, which means that we might be late starting the big show tonight at 10:30. Yeah, but make sure that you stick with us, because we'll be on after the game as long as the game ends before the show ends.
Yeah. All right, that's Mexico versus Ecuador going on, and we'll bring you some coverage on the Factor Uncensored tonight at 10:30, plus many of the stories you've just seen and more. Thank you guys for joining us. Have a good one.
See you tomorrow.